Alrighty, guys. Welcome to this very different episode of Ducks and Download. On this episode, I was going to get my batch on with my new best batch friend, Young. Young, if you would like to introduce yourself and say where people can find your loveliness.
Hi, I'm Young. Chris and I have bonded over the Bad Batch because our boys. Just find me on TikTok at Forever Young 1300. That name might actually be changing soon
Okay.
to make it a bit more Star Warsy related. 'Cause, gotta brand myself somehow.
That was the hard thing for me. I was like, I love D&D. I love like Lord of the Rings and all fantasy stuff, but come on, I know where I lie in this world. I'm all about it.
Oh, that's a cool shirt.
My 1-year-old has a matching onesie.
Yes. So two of my friends I consider sisters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be their chaotic, mildly inebriated aunt when they grace this world with their presence. But oh my gosh.
So like Hunter after a few spotchkas.
Yes. I'm going to be getting them all of the Star Wars stuff. I already have like a Star Wars onesie for my one friend. And the poor little thing is going to grow out of it super soon. And I'm like, you know what? At least you look damn good in that onesie.
Right. Yeah, you gotta get some every now and then. So, hey guys, anyone who wants to get Young something awesome, buy her a Bad Batch helmet.
If you guys actually, okay, I'm not asking for anything, but
Right. But if
I actually have been wanting to get a Sabine kit for a while, because like one, I will make this about race, but like just to have that Asian representation.
Oh yeah.
Made me really happy, and also just like she's fun, and I just love Rebels because the amount of roasting that happens.
Yes.
And Sabine is just from day one is like, I'm not having this with you, Ezra. But then as their relationship grows, it becomes more of a brother sister thing. And I swear to God, if they make Ezra and Sabine have some sort of romantic relationship, I will throw hands. Like, no, men and women can be friends without it being romantic. Like
That is a brilliant point, because I totally get that. I was definitely one of the guys watching the sequels, so I was like, Poe and Finn, especially towards the last movies. In the beginning, you're like, oh well, Rey and Finn, obviously. Force Awakens, like, yeah, Rey and Finn, cool, whatever. It's like everything else we've ever seen ever. And then as the movies progress, and especially Rise of Skywalker, I was like, no, it's Poe and Finn.
I mean, okay, I won't lie. Rise of Skywalker was discontinuous with Force Awakens and how everyone thought it was going to go. Again, sorry to jump Boyega, but it's just the whole thing with Rose. Again, I love Rose. Kelly Marie Tran said it so eloquently about her character at Celebration. I cannot remember the words right now, but it was just so eloquent how she said about Rose's character. But that whole thing at the end, I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm derailing us.
That's fine.
Talk about our boys.
We're going to talk about our boys, but you know what? Getting to know you is a very important part of getting to know any creator. And honestly, we've already covered the sequels. We've covered like other Rebels. So we've covered a lot of ground in a very small amount of time. So now people know where we stand. You know, that's important to know.
Welcome to my brain. It has when I go from point A to point B, which also has like
subset point A, yeah.
Point 3, it does make sense eventually.
Right.
I was talking to my therapist and trying to like say one simple story, and I went off on like 5 or 6 tangents, and she just started laughing. It's like, I mean, that tracks. Like, thanks.
Right. The whole time you're sitting there like, oh, don't worry, I'm getting everything I need. So then, speaking of some mental help, the mental help we need of when season 2 finally drops.
Oh my God. Okay.
The paint job. The new armor paint job.
So they all have covered up their 99, which in a way I understand because it connected them to the Gar, but then also it was also a tribute to 99. I swear to God, I have not cried so hard over an animated fictional character.
Yeah.
I think like ever. And then I saw the 99 arc, and I'm just like, I'm messaging my friend like, Baloney, why? Why? And I have seen that arc maybe 4 or 5 times now. Every single time I'm crying. So anyway.
There's a very common phrase in this household that is, God fucking damn it, Dave.
Yes. So true.
It's so true. If he can sneak Order 66 in a new way to just twist that knife just a little bit more. And that was a big one for me, is getting to see Caleb Doom again. That I was like, oh my gosh. So when he talks about the troopers in Rebels that he got to talk to and that he was scared of, that was Hunter, and then Crosshair ruining the moment because Crosshair is a little on edge all the time.
Oh my goodness. That was when Bad Batch Season 1 came out, I just kind of started considering doing TikTok and whatnot.
Okay.
I'm still really bad at it, but I actually did record myself. I squeak when I get very excited, and so I'm squeaking and I'm crying at the same time, and I'm like, okay, we got Order 66. We got Order 66, but it was from a very beloved character from Rebels. I'm just like, this is not okay. I mean, granted, did you ever read the comic that is no longer canon, obviously, but it showed how Caleb became Kanan Jarrus?
I have not actually, no.
I saw, so somebody did like a theatrical reading on YouTube. I'll try to find it and I'll send it to you after this. Awesome. But it was still very sad how everything went down. But then I'm sure you've seen this meme, but with I'm gonna cry. Depa Biloba's hand telling Caleb to run.
And then it mirrors
Kanan with his hand, and then Ezra with his hand. I'm just like, I'm not okay.
Right. That is something that I've seen a few videos of, where it was just like the swelling music, and then Kanan sitting there holding everything back, his eyes turning blue, and then it goes to like flashback mode of him and his master, and you're just like,
the emotional damage.
Because Star Wars is for kids, right? I mean.
Oh yeah, with the slavery, the child soldiers, the most dangerous they are.
Right.
Unaliving oneself.
Oh man. And that's one of the things I've really loved about Bad Batch as well, is that it doesn't shy away from extremely heavy topics, like, of course, spoilers, duh. Within season 1, we get to see so much of this like camaraderie between these boys that then gets obliterated when Crosshair joins the the Empire due to his chip kind of working a little bit more. They kind of talk about it, like, oh, well, because they're so heavily modified, they don't really their chips just don't work as well. But Crosshair being just a very good shot, because Wrecker, super strength and super thick. So nothing, nothing's getting through that skull if it doesn't want to. He almost turns, which would have been very bad. Because if it was Crosshair and Wrecker, you have the agility and the brawn. I don't think they could have beat him. I think they would have died on Kimono.
Kimono?
I always mess that word up. Camino.
Camino.
Yeah, it's because in my brain I was like, don't mess it up, because trying to pronounce Kaminoans.
Kaminoans, yeah.
Yes, the plural version. I'm like, that's a tongue twister.
It is, and it's got multiple syllables where you're just like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Brain work properly. Oh gosh, when Wrecker's chip activated, you see the fear in everyone's eyes, because they know just his strength and what Wrecker is actually capable of. Even though he is the child and the best uncle in the group, they just know, and that broke my heart when everyone saw the fear, and poor Rex was having the PTSD.
Yep.
And Omega, and then when he apologizes to her,
yes.
Oh my goodness, I lost myself.
Because in that moment, Wrecker would have immediately just snapped Omega like a twig.
Oh, he would have. He absolutely would have. And he wouldn't have done it with a blaster. He would have used his hands.
Yep.
Just went,
or that giant, foot-long Bowie knife he has.
Oh gosh. Real quick, back to Crosshair.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my hot take. They did remove his chip, but they modified him.
Okay.
They modified him even further because, they enhanced things within the boys.
Right.
And for Crosshair, I think part of that was just shrewdness and a really deep sense of loyalty, and they modified him to be more loyal to the Republic. And which brings me to Hody And I know, were you able to go to Celebration?
Sadly, no.
Oh, the FOMO, man, the FOMO. But like, I guess there was a portion in their super special, goddamn them, preview of Cody kind of questioning the motives of the Empire, and I guess a lot of Crosshair stands are wanting that to be the trigger for Crosshair to realize, oh, I can't continue to support these because they aren't going to support me. Like I think Rampart's going to do Crosshair dirty, and that hopefully will put him over the edge because the Rampart. That's all I gotta say. But then also, I actually also think, I think I told this to you, but I can't remember. But I think so. In the trailer, we see Omega like falling and someone saving her.
Yeah.
I think that's Crosshair.
Okay.
I think Crosshair saves her.
Okay.
So I think he wants to be back with his brothers, but he also wants to be more because he was always just a part of the group, and he, I think in a way, also wants to explore his own individuality away from the group. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out the best, as we have seen. But I think Crossy Come Home he's redeemable, but it's going to take a lot of healing, and I know that Hunter regrets everything, and I know a lot of people blame Hunter for what has happened, but again, they don't know what the audience knows.
Yeah.
But the other part of me is like, they could have gone back. They got Echo from Gecko Minor, and they also got Gregor. They could have gone back for Crosshair. So I still love my boy Hunter, my grumpy sergeant with the 12-step hair care routine. But also, it's just like, I understand why he didn't go back for Crosshair.
And that's the ultimate thing, though, is at the end of the day, these are soldiers. And they have that soldier mentality, the military mentality of sometimes you have to leave a brother behind. Have you been keeping up on the Obi-Wan comics?
No,
issue 3, though, actually deals with this a lot. Cody has to give the command to lay waste and bombard a bridge covered in clones. And he just does it because, good soldiers follow orders. And he kills hundreds of his brothers. And, Obi-Wan is just, trying to drag bodies out. Like, no, we can save these people. And he's like, no, we have to go. It's a heart grinder.
That's rough, and it's part of the clones' programming to be, for lack of say it, submissive to the higher authority. And I think that's what they did to Crosshair, because you could tell I think he did want to get onto that ship, but Crosshair is also very prideful, at least to me. So he didn't go. I mean, I saw glistening tears in his eyes. I saw it.
Yeah, and again, coming from a military family, I can tell you, the snipers are usually the most reprogrammed people in the military, because to understand the breathing control, to get all of the agility and the ability to have endurance, because the number one thing that a lot of sniper training does is you have to run 2 miles, lay down, bullseye a target, get up, run 4 miles, lay down, bullseye a target, and you have to do that again and again and again. Yeah, so it's extremely hard, and it's a very grueling practice, and it would make sense for him to need to be the most reprogrammed one, due to the fact that if he's an amazing sniper, you don't want that turned against you. Wrecker, you just got to stun him, hit him in the head hard enough, he'll kind of go down. Hunter, just make sure he doesn't sneak up on you. Tech, take all of his gadgets away, and don't give him even a toothpick.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But I think the moment I fell in love with Crosshair the most was the shot down the hall, bounced off the mirrors that Tech had placed.
That was definitely am I attracted to this? No. Maybe I am.
Oh, and then the tattoo and the toothpick thing, I was just like, all right, I got your number.
Hussy.
Yeah.
I love all the boys individually, but I'm scared for this, because I know everyone was thinking that Bad Batch was going to be a 1 season, and everyone was going to get Rogue One at the end, which kills me. I'm so glad that they haven't.
They could have easily done it too with what they had with that bombardment at the last of the episode. They could have easily just
it could have been like the Walking Dead potential ending, like with the blowing up of the CDC thing. You know, if it didn't get good reception, then they could have, you know, ended it right there. But it got good reception, so like just with Bad Batch, they could have gone down with Camino, but they didn't, which I'm very grateful for. And also, we are getting 16 MFing episodes. Yes.
I feel like that's another one of those things too, where especially with Filoni, because I know he takes much more, I wouldn't say pride, but ownership in the stories and letting them go a lot further with the animated series, because that's where you got to start. And the writers, all of the writers for the animated series, especially Bad Batch. I cannot remember her name. The writer of Bad Batch, main script writer though, is a lovely female. Yes, thank you. Yeah, go right ahead.
We talked about her.
Yes.
And now I cannot remember.
There's that moment we were talking about where you start talking about something you know really well, and your brain goes, 404, message not found.
Right.
But it because Filoni is not going to allow something that the fans have latched onto to die, because he's a fan, and I mean, if I know the only thing that would make this show even crazier for like Filoni, because his love of the animated, would be if Wolf showed up randomly.
Hey, I think he's going to show up because we have him in Rebels.
Yeah.
Also, the PTSD that Wolf is going to go through, because, okay, do you follow Danielle on TikTok? She's the person who does the clone stuff. I think it's written across the
Okay, yes. Yes.
She very eloquently let us know that it was not the wolf pack that gunned down Plo Koon.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm glad, because I'm just like, oh my goodness, because they're so loyal to him.
That makes more sense too, because he was in a star pilot, so it would have been a Hawk, or it would have been one of the pilots in the ship behind him, not one of the wolf pack. Which that would have if they had come out of that and realized what had happened, they would have been broken. Which I found this out through doing a Wookiee Jedi video. The reason Plo Koon is so compassionate and has such an amazing sense of love for everyone, his master was a Wookiee. Plo Koon was taught by Tyvoka, a Wookiee Jedi master.
Oh, I love that.
So it really and Wookiees having such a huge amount of honor for anyone who stands next to them, and having such compassion, makes a lot of sense as to why then Plo Koon carries that on to the Wolfpack when he's like, no, you are more than just soldiers to me. That Clone Wars episode, oh, it's so good.
So one of my hot takes about Clone Wars, it is not a Skywalker story, it is a clone story.
Oh yeah.
Because even episode 1, flat out with Yoda, it's like, we're just clones, sir, and Yoda's like, no, more you are. The Force flows differently through all of you. So it just fully establishes, like, they maybe originally have been bred to be clones,
right? But
they just diverge so much more. Which I think another reason why people love the Bad Batch is because they already they have their individuality kind of already set, but then they are able to grow with that individuality. Like I was thinking about when during the dyad talk and how the boys were written by women. One of the ways I think we definitely see that is when Cut gives Hunter parenting lessons. Yeah. Making sure, like, are you okay? And getting down to her level. And then when they get Omega back from Cad Bane, you see Hunter take everything Cut told him and she showed him without really telling him. He got down to her level. She was okay. And then proceeded with her know kind of like the next steps and whatnot. I'm just like, I love my Hunter. I love him. I love him so much.
And that's one of my favorites too. Is Hunter has such confliction almost at all times. Like he's just like I want to just leave the kid behind because I know it's gonna be better for her. She'll be safer, and I don't have to worry then. But also now she needs me, and I need her more than I'll ever want to admit. Tech I feel like is definitely what when I was raised would have been Asperger's, now just level of autism. He's just got that mind where he's like, no, if you're not numbers, like, no offense, not something I'm gonna freak out about. Like, I love everybody, not more than math though.
Not more than this logic.
Right, not more than simple logic.
I was okay, I will get to Tech, but real quick with Hunter and Omega relationship, I mean, there was obviously a connection from the get-go, but I'm also wondering that Hunter's devotion to her and her protection is some misplaced guilt because he wasn't able to do that for Crosshair.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking about that the other night, like, well, now I'm sad. Now
right.
I'm real sad. And then for Tech, the clip that we got to see from the Bad Batch and how he's invested so much in Omega's education, and he's such a mother hen about it. I'm like, I love Tech, and even I've seen edits of people who are showing, like, you know, how each of the Bad Batch treat Omega in their own, like, fatherly way.
Yeah.
And Tech kind of he's able to sense her needs without before they are needed, because, like, he helps her down, he helps her up, and he's in tune with what she needs as a child.
Right.
And I love him so much. And I hope we do get more Echo, because we haven't talked about her boy Echo. I just I don't even know what to say about him.
With me and Tech, though, I feel like I love Tech, but I feel like Tech would also have a issue, like, once Omega does start becoming more of a woman, if they're ever going to put that in Star Wars, you know, having, like, that time of the cycle where she's just like, don't help me up, I don't need your help up, I can do this myself, and he's just like, I don't know what's happening with you, this is not how you normally act, I'm gonna go.
I think Tech would be like, it's like, I can even see it, it's like, oh my god, this is just a hormonal response, please let us assist you. And then Omega just loses her shit. And then Echo, being the lovely man that he is, like, Tech, just walk, fix something over here, get out of it.
Uses his, you know, metal arm, punch a hole, oh look, hey Tech. Because that's one of the things I love about Echo. Echo has that original clone mentality of just whatever it takes. Like, I'm just, the only thing that made, the only thing that makes him special to himself, really, is now his cybernetic implants, and just the fact that he's a survivor.
I know multiple people have talked about this, but I wish we could have seen a conversation between him and Rex, just about everything that happened, and then about his twin, his Domino twin, Fives, because we don't get to see. People want that. People want to see that processing and that grieving, because, gosh, this hurts me so much. But it's just like, Fives died not knowing that his brother was still alive.
Right.
That kills me. And then for poor Rex, just to see all the dominoes fall one by one, and then he gets Echo back, but he also respects Echo so much as just an individual. He's able to say, "Be free, my bird. I wish you would stay, but be free." And oh gosh, that part in the season 7 arc.
Yeah, and the Domino Squad, they are the ones from the Rishi moon station, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because I mean, the first time we even see them, Heavy gives his life. Like, it's just this poor squad of amazing troopers that will literally give everything for the Republic, and they do on countless times. That is definitely one of the most powerful episodes from Clone Wars that really, again, cements this is about clones. And then, you know, with the paint later, all the names they start picking up, that's a big part actually in the Obi-Wan comic, again, is since it's so fresh into the Clone Wars, Obi-Wan kind of helped give Cody his name. It's kind of said, yeah. And then he goes up to another clone and he's like, oh, I named myself this yesterday. And Obi-Wan's like, amazing. And he immediately calls him by it and, like, starts moving on. And that's the same one that he has to then try to rescue but can't. And, you know, gives him the whole go on without me. Oh yeah.
Chris, don't do this to me. I don't need to be this. Look, I'm already suffering depression. I don't need to be even more sad.
Don't read issue 3 yet, then.
Oh man, I do want to get into the comics, but for whatever reason, comics have always been really hard for me to read.
Yeah.
Because I already hallucinate while looking at dead tattooed flesh of trees. But to also have that visual component, it like clashes with what's in my brain and also like what I'm seeing on the page. So I want to get into them, but I don't know if my brain can actually like handle it. Really quick, sorry, going back to the color because I went on a complete tangent.
Hey, that's fine.
Where did the orange come from?
I would wonder that too. I don't know where the orange paint would have come from, but I feel like, you know, it's probably them like signifying something with themselves, because now it's more of a blue and orange like a light steel blue and orange color, which is almost a counteraction of the black and red. So if you think about it, it's like Imperial-esque, and now it's more Rebellion-esque.
Yes, it is.
Because flights, yeah, orange is flight suits, known for the X-Wing pilots and stuff. The light blue, kind of like a hope, a second coming, a new hope.
I've seen it thrown around that the blue seems to be very turquoisey, that we have seen on our lovely Captain Hauser, and it's a tribute to him. My other headcanon is we are going to see Hauser again.
He's going to die.
He's going to die protecting Hera's mom.
Yes.
We're trying to protect Hera's mom, and Hera's mom's going to die.
That's one of my wife's absolute favorite things, because anything that gives more cultural background for especially alien species, she just loves the Twi'leks too. I mean, that's why she has her cosplay of a Twi'lek. Yeah, and but it's so rare that we get any, like, that's the one thing we still need, like, good representation for now, is alien lore. Like, we got the Kalikori. That's like the biggest thing that we know about Twi'leks, is they have a family totem, and their architecture is reminiscent of, like, Pablo Native American, first indigenous, and then like a bit Egyptian-esque. Yeah. But yeah, no, Hauser is going to show up. I definitely see him trying to protect Hera's mom, and then pew. And that might also be one of the things where Crosshair's going to be like, but I don't know.
Real quick, I know Hera has talked about a brother, and we obviously didn't see a brother in Bad Batch, but do you think Hauser is the brother? I think that I've seen that tossed around a couple of times to where, because she does speak very highly of the clones that served her family, for lack of a better way to say it, in Rebels. So I'm wondering if she's considering Hauser.
I can see that. I mean, because her family was on the Ghost, so she's already proven to us that she doesn't assume only blood. The blood of the Covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Yeah.
Oh, found family. Such a beautiful, beautiful theme.
Yes.
And that's why, again, Rebels resonated with me. And I think also even Bad Batch, because even though they were batchmates, they did create a family. And as much as Sid, they want to, like, Sid and them just want to slap each other, she is now, like, almost like a semi-matriarch. Because I remember when, oh gosh, what are the aliens with the devil horns called?
That is a Deveronian.
So when the Deveronians attempted to take over Sid's operation, when he threatened Omega, oh my goodness, the first person to step in front of Omega was frickin' Sid. Like, absolutely not. You do not touch my tiny.
But at the same time, she's like, what are you gonna do, rip my arm off? It'll grow back.
I do like Sid.
Sid is awesome. Sid is like one of the Golden Girls. Like, she just has this vibe of, like, the smoking grandma who's never once given a hoot about anything else.
I love that. And she's also she's voiced by, oh no, it's not Lily Tomlin. Who's she voiced by? Hang on, I know who she's. When I found out who she was voiced by, I'm like, oh really? It's not Lily Tomlin.
So yeah, Rhea Perlman does a amazing job of being Sid, and really giving her that, like, I smoke 10 packs a day, but don't worry, you're still getting your kisses.
I also think she helps the Bad Batch kind of become a bit more street smart, for lack of a better way to say it, which the boys need.
Yes.
They're essentially mercenaries now, so.
Right. Bad Batch Raider. I gotta look this up too.
Real quick, taking a slight detour, maybe 15 degrees. We were talking about Wookiee Jedi.
Yeah. Gungi. No, getting to see Gungi again is going to be amazing, because Wookiees having such a fierce code of honor, but all that brutal strength, I think will play a lot of role in this upcoming season of Bad Batch. Not to mention, though, Wookiees understand not giving in to that baser instinct. So, like, Wookiees always make amazing Jedi, because a Wookiee can't even use their claws to attack another creature, or they would be deemed a mad claw back on Kashyyyk. So, like, it's ingrained in their culture to not ever let that primal side out. But at the same time, there's also the Sith in me that loves the dark side. It's just like, but what if he turns?
No, Gunji's not gonna care, okay?
A dark side Wookiee would be the most horrible thing to unleash on the galaxy.
Are there any dark side Wookiees? I mean, darker.
Not in any canon.
Kind of dark side. He's just his own free-range chicken.
Chrysanthemum is just like Boba Fett pre-Book of Boba Fett. He just doesn't care about anyone besides himself.
But oh wow, okay, so now we need to have a Sith Wookiee. Gosh.
It would be terrifying.
That would be crazy.
Absolutely
also,
terrifying.
Decides to go with that, please credit us.
Yeah, exactly.
Idea.
We
credit us.
It's gonna be on YouTube tomorrow. You can't take it from me. By tomorrow, I mean right now, because I'm, the Wibbly Wobbly FaceTime stuff. You're watching this. We recorded this. Don't worry about it. But yeah, there is season 2. I think is going to have a lot of really crazy stuff that I don't think people are going to expect. Scorch. So the Republic Commandos. I don't know if you ever played that game. It's one of my absolute favorites. It's like the most brutal old school Xbox game ever, where you just constantly die and get sent back a whole 3 levels because there's no such thing as autosave back in the early 2000s. So Scorch, who is a demolitions expert, and Fixer is their medic, and then Sev is pretty much the inspiration for Crosshair. Sev was a commando that had the way he painted himself was he took red paint and did a handprint blood style on his face. Yes. No, Sev was the edgy dude before Crosshair came along. He was the edgy sniper before Crosshair. So, I mean, that'd be a fun, if nothing else, I would love to see Sev come in and it's like a snipe off. One of them has to pick off the other one or figure out what's going on. And then, of course, they also, really, most of the Bad Batch is very heavily inspired by the Clone Commandos. Because there's also Boss. Boss is the leader of the Clone Commando group, and he has a lot of that Hunter vibe. So it'd be really awesome to see these teams come together and face off. Because, yeah, Wrecker can manhandle any clone, even a commando. But the commandos do have crazy training. That's why in the Bad Batch Season 1, we kind of see, it's commandos teaching all the new Imperials. Which then really blows my mind on why they're all horrible at aiming. I mean, in Rebels and so many other shows, we get even Rex saying, you can't see out of these damn things. But
I think visual impairment is something, but also maybe, because, I mean, Gregor obviously got wise to what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he sabotaged the training, and because didn't he say that he wrote whatever curriculum or whatnot, he did something that was pretty instrumental to the Empire, but it's just he probably wrote in how to train and they never questioned it or changed.
Right, little did they know he was actually just in one of his manic states, just because after that explosion, he just went further down the tube of Looney, which I love Gregor. He's my number 1 clone. I love Gregor. But
when I saw Rebels and that he was there, I'm like, oh wait, he survived? I kind of hope we get a little bit more or context to how he actually survived that explosion on that planet. Also, okay.
Speaking of surviving explosions, though, what if Five's not dead? And then Echo has to.
I love that, but it took a shot to the chest and he died in Rex's arms and he
said
the line, the dream is over.
It's one of those things you just sit there I don't want it to happen because, he got shot. But at the same time, Star Wars plot armor is very fluid in Star Wars. Sometimes you can get stabbed a couple times and live through it. You can get shot multiple times and live through it. It's your vicinity. It's how close are you to a Bacta tank?
Maul got sliced in half, okay?
Well, then that's yes, but I love that because we're Maul got sliced in half. How'd he live? Spite, anger. Reva got stabbed twice, even once as a kid. How'd she live? Spite and anger. That's the dark side.
I also, I think, I don't know if this has been brought up and how in the hell can Maul survive, but then when you think about it, the lightsaber cauterizes the wounds.
Yes.
And he wouldn't have bled out.
Right.
Although this is going to go on a complete, biological tangent, but, how does he shit?
The same as Vader, probably. It's just a tube that goes through him and then just puts it out where it needs to be.
Has, the bottom half to where he could.
But if you think about the amount of heat, it can't. One of the big problems, they say, you're not supposed. They a quick aside. Don't ever use a lighter to light a fart because it can actually sear and cauterize and ruin your rectum.
It can go right up the butt.
Yeah. So imagine sitting next to lava and his butt was closer.
Okay, yep, I see that. That makes total sense.
He probably doesn't even have cheeks now. It's just like one little lump.
He's not clapping cheeks.
Never again. Never again. That's why Vader's so pissed. That's like the real reason. He just like, he always feels like he has an itch, but he can't scratch. But yes, I would imagine Maul has the same thing. It's a tube process that then filters it out and releases it, probably like a little rabbit pellet.
Or it's like the bag. I'm losing.
Colostomy bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's
But then again, it was Mandalorian was the first time we even heard about the refresher being like canonized for the bathroom. So, you know, apparently they've just really perfected the amount of caloric intake versus what your body needs. But yeah, there's a lot of living through very horrendous things. I mean, really, what Echo had to go through. Being hooked up on that machine and just being force-fed enough nutrients to stay on the verge of surviving. Because he was so weak when Rex got him.
That was messed up.
Yeah.
Like, that whole thing about with Echo, and it breaks my heart, and the fact that the Batch welcomed him with open arms, because even though he was a reg, but they realized, like, he's kind of a misfit, like us. He can have places, never questioned it. Like that again, that was another part of that scene where Echo goes to the Batch. They don't say a thing. They just like, come to us, brother.
Yep.
I love this so much.
And of course, yeah, Rex is there like, or you could be in the 501st again. And yeah, he's just like, no, I don't belong here. Everyone looks at me weird, so I'm gonna go with the people who don't look at you weird because they're weird too.
Yeah. Oh.
That Bad Batch, I would have never expected to be a cautionary tale of acceptance and like fatherly / motherly values. I would have never in a million years seen that. Looking at like this picture, never in a million years would I have thought, oh, these guys are going to become dads. So speaking of being so then with their daughter, is she gonna? You think she is force sensitive?
I don't know. I mean, it would be cool, but it would also be nice to kind of like not have a main focus on force sensitivity. I mean, obviously we're getting the youngling Jedi, which is fine. It's like just fully non-force sensitive. I think that's another reason why a lot of people liked Rogue One, because the main characters were not force users. I mean, granted, obviously got Vader and Chirrut, who obviously had some sensitivity to the force. We love him. We need to cosplay him as well.
Donnie Yen alone is like my all-time favorite, one of my all-time favorite actors. Ip Man, I fell in love with him immediately, and when I was like, he gets to be in Star Wars, yeah. And I knew he was gonna bust out some badass moves when I saw him with a stick. I was like, oh, you all are screwed.
My favorite line of his is when they put the bag over his head. Are you kidding me? I'm lying.
So that actually is a really good point, though. When you think about that, is anybody who is extremely good at something, it's almost always in the Star Wars universe force sensitivity. A good gambler is force sensitive. Han may not be able to use and access the force, but he's such an amazing pilot that a lot of people argue he's a little sensitive in the force. So that would be my thing. If Omega is force sensitive, she doesn't need to move rocks. Maybe just a little telepathy or something.
I think her strategy, again, that could be a clone thing.
Yeah.
But because she was a natural born as opposed to an accelerated. But I feel like potentially the the strategy is definitely something, but also her empathy. Because I feel like one of the things we definitely dismiss in children is just a child's ability to just accept. And Omega does that. And even though, Crosshair shot at her and her brothers, she still fully accepts them and she understands. And I think even her empathy is a sign of potential force sensitivity.
And on the opposite end of an empath, we have, again, Rampart, who is definitely going to just become the Tarkin of this show. Just like everyone's going to despise and hate him love to hate him because he's so good at being a dick.
I mean, we are also going to have Tarkin in this as well, and I'm just. Do you think Krennic's going to show up?
It could happen. They could also kind of tie this in with stuff from Rogue One and all kinds of things, or like the Catalyst book series and stuff. There's so much to tie into it, but at the same time, that the actor for Krennic is a very unique voice, and they're sure as hell not paying to have him do the voice lines. Like that's one of the other things I've really always loved about the Star Wars animated series is they just like, no, we'll just find a good enough voice actor who you can tell is attempting to be that person, because what you see and hear in animated is never what we get in live action for legitimate reasons. Like, everyone wanted to complain about Rosario Dawson having smaller montrals for a Togruta than she should at that age, but it's like, you try and do flips and spins with these little rubber things flapping around.
I did see a live panel, nuts, I cannot remember his name, but he addressed the question of, her montrals, and he's like, and he just smiles like, I understand, but we also have to think about this is live action, and the comfort for the actor or actress, and stage makeup, special effects makeup, something I've been interested in for a while. Did you ever see the show on Sci-Fi called Face Off?
Yeah.
Love that show, and it just what goes into prosthetics to that degree. I'm like, they must have hollowed out her mantra in order for her to not have a headache and her neck just be crunched within 2 hours of putting it on.
Fun fact:
so it's like,
the montrals are already hollow, even in canon, because it helps them hear.
Yes, they're like almost like echolocation.
Yes, because they are a hunter species. And I believe they also call the bottom parts Liku still. So it's like, if it goes up, it's a Montral. If it goes down, it's a Liku.
Well, I was wondering, because like people were like, her Montrals, and then they've also said her Leku, and I'm like, ooh, okay, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense that it could be, the anatomy is both things. But like, even just the prosthesis itself, like even the Leku part and the part in the back, like they must have had to hollow that out like crazy, but also to give it some potential movement. I really hope we get a gallery look at the process of making her Montral.
With how good the Mandalorian one did, cat hair, nice. With how good the Mandalorian one did, and how spectacular like the ILM stuff has been, and like all these documents, they'd be absolutely just mind-numbingly stupid to not release some back. And there's always a guy with a camera, even just for himself, running around a Star Wars set going, I know I can't release any of this, but I gotta capture it. But my wife's Liku that she wears are filled with just like very super like open cell foam, so it's very soft and squishy. Yeah. But the thing is, even like, it's like the way she describes it is like, take your ponytail and just slightly pull on it, and that's what it feels like all the time. So I can't imagine having two up here, a really big one in the back, and then the two that come down the front. Yeah, your whole head would just be like, ugh.
And to also do the stunts that she's able to do. It's crazy. It's like, I see the argument for larger Montrals because she is an older Togruta at this point in time, but also it's like, effects have to also be practical.
Yes.
As much as we want them to not be. And the fact that they aren't relying on CGI also, I think also just speaks to how much they want to be true to the original series.
Yes.
But also still make it feel real, because I loved in The Mandalorian when they had all of the aliens in the cantina. Hi, kitty. The aliens, like none of them were CG. They were all prosthetics. And I loved that, because they could have gone the way of The Hobbit. Like, I did like The Hobbit, but I also had to think of it differently from Lord of the Rings. So they could have gone the way of The Hobbit, but they didn't, which I greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I also think that that's what makes the Bad Batch so much more fun too, is that they're not restricted to a live action scope whatsoever. So they can do things like shoot a laser beam down a hallway over mirrors, and Wrecker can just grab stuff and yuck it across the room like it's nothing. But the other part of that is, I would love to see them live action, sure, like a cameo kind of thing. And season 2, we could actually get that. Like, if they ever start working with Fulcrum, then we'll know there could be a big chance of them showing up in the Ahsoka series. Because how else are you, like, if Thrawn has his own thing, just to go a little real crazy, if Thrawn is back with the Chiss Ascendancy, people are screwed. If Thrawn is with the First Order, well, we would have definitely have seen him, I hope, unless he has his own division like he did in the Empire, who knows. The only people who could really penetrate Imperial bases like that, aside from Ahsoka, are gonna be the boys. Because Sabine loved Mandalorians to death, but they're a very, very hot, blunt knife. Like, love them to death, but you see that and you're like, that's not supposed to be on this ship, that's a Mandalorian.
They're a little too hot-headed and aren't the best strategists.
Yeah, you could look through all the history of the Mandalorians, and they've never been the best at strategy. Like, not when it comes to war. When it comes to war, yeah, they're, like, amazing at strategy. But, man, they don't make friends. And that's one other thing I loved about the whole Ren crew. Like, the whole family was just this, never take no for an answer, take what you need, give nothing back. The Wrens are definitely Goonies.
Real quick, back to if we ever get live action Bad Batch. If I see Hunter.
Now, that'll be the other thing is with their super aggressive aging. This would just be funny. I don't care about his acting skills, but they could actually get Sylvester Stallone to be Hunter. He could be full Rambo. Full Rambo.
I mean, that's what he is, Space Rambo. Oh man, I don't know how I feel about that because nothing against Sylvester Stallone,
right?
But I'm just I don't simp for him, but I simp for Hunter. I'm I would be so conflicted. I shouldn't be attracted to this.
I mean, Hunter with a nice peppery beard.
Oh, with a tattoo.
Yeah.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
Yeah, there's
in love with a collection of pixels.
So much.
Grass and Jesus.
Oh yeah, whatever. Again, I'm a 90s baby. I fell in love with cartoons way early on. We had, Gadget from Rescue Rangers. We had Lola Bunny. Psh.
So who is your cartoon crush?
I'd say my well, honestly, the first cartoon one would probably have been. Do you watch anime? All right. Well, there is from Tenchi Muyo. There is a alien female with very big blue hair, and that anime wasn't risque, but it had vibes of just it was kind of like the first kind of a harem anime where all these girls fighting over a dude. And Ryoku, the blue-haired badass space pirate, I was just like, that one. Which then became Kimberly the Pink Power Ranger, which then just turned me down this field of but can she also fight?
I mean, so there's a sound on TikTok that one of the the Lord of the Rings creators has said. It's she's a 10, but she wears armor. And it's immediate off the charts. Are you kidding me?
Her whole life, and especially for the clones, when your whole life is taking the lives of other things or fighting off rebellions, especially these poor clones now after Order 66 that are now being turned on the civilians. At least the original clones were just fighting clankers, whatever. You don't have to worry that much about them hurting or mourning the loss. Exactly. Now, then there's also that part of me that's but it's because they wiped them all the time. Because we see with any droid who doesn't get permanently wiped a lot, they gain that AI personality and do become sentient. So droids are definitely the most oppressed subspecies in all of Star Wars.
Oh, any AI, yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, yeah, you don't want the B-1 battle droids to gain sentience, or I don't think they would have fought the war anymore.
No, especially after all the crap that they went.
We squishy meatbags are quite good at taking rights and giving them, and just this ebb and flow, right? So that's what the Bad Batch is so amazing at showing you, is that warrior side, but after the war, when they have to go home and they don't have a war to fight anymore. They're doing all these missions for Sid, and they're not happy. This is children's work, right? It was just to make money to feed them and have Wrecker and Omega blow it all on popcorn, space popcorn.
That's the other thing I just do because their whole identity is gone. and how do you reconcile that? Because again,
and not even your whole identity, your whole life. You were training, then you grew up in like a week, and then you were fighting. That's it.
Just to them finding their place, and so this might get a little too philosophical thinking about it, but like
that's what Star Wars is.
But like even I feel like people resonated with that because, you know, with everything that happened the past couple of years, you know, there's the before times and there's now, and I think a lot of us who we were before 2020 and all the crap that came with it, we're now trying to like re-find ourselves and our place in this new world, and that's what the batch is doing. And I think that just is something subconsciously people didn't realize that they connected with. I just thought about it. I'm like, no, it makes a lot of sense just trying to find your place in a new world while also still trying to remain true to who in a way you think you are. But then just like Hunter, you know, is a soldier, and he treated Omega like a soldier, but then he realized like, oh, she's not a soldier, I am no longer a soldier. So I need to kind of change how I interact with this child to be more, you know, as a parent, but also still maintain my sense of authority that I had as a soldier. Again, just trying to find how to take your past self to become your new self in this context of a new world.
And in the context of season 2, we'll get some of these answers hopefully. So kind of wrap this up a bit. Just a nice simple thing then. What is like one of the number one things that you need from season 2?
2 things.
Okay.
Or 3 things. That's a lot. 3 things. 1, for Hondo to have saved the younglings because Katuni, Katuni or Hu Yang somehow was able to contact Hondo. Crosshair to come back, and also for him and Hunter to duke it out, even if it's like through fists while talking, kind of like they did in the training room.
Yes.
And then I want Omega to go rogue. I want her to defy her dads and just flat out do something. Because I mean, we already had a little bit of that when she took the ship with Hera, but there was still, I feel like I would say, like kid-parent loyalty. I want her to just go complete rogue, like absolutely not. F you. This is wrong. I'm doing this. And potentially have some consequences come out of it. Like she gets what needs to be done, but then there's still consequences to her actions. So.
I could agree with all of that because it kind of in line with mine. I need Crosshair to come back. I want to watch Gungi just like annihilate some imps, and then I will also want Omega to go rogue and learn from her brother.
Crosshair brother?
Boba.
Oh, do you think we'll see him?
I would love to see Boba Fett in season 2. We very well could. So, again, Forever Young 13, or is there some zeros after that?
1300.
1300, yes. So, make sure to go follow our guys over on TikTok. We're all just new to this anyway, you know. So, we all support each other. This is a lovely community, and this was an absolutely lovely conversation. We will definitely have more of them.
Yes, thank you. I really appreciate it, Chris. I'm glad we just bonded over the Bad Batch. I'm sorry I went off on way too many tangents that wasn't super Bad Batch related, but just thank you. This was fun, and I just had so much fun.
Yeah, that's the same way I felt. No, we are taking our steps into a bigger world. Our first steps. The Force is with us.
Hopefully leads us to Celebration and all of us being together. Because
yes.
I want to see everyone at Celebration at some point, but also for all of us to come collectively to Batuu and just cry seeing the Millennium Falcon. I will cry again. I've already seen it, but I will cry.
Oh, it'll be my first time, definitely. A good trip to Batuu would be amazing. I can't wait to finally get to go. Probably won't be at London because that's a hell of a drive. But if it comes back to the States, I will fight blood, sweat, and tears to get into Celebrations. Or, you know what, we're just going to blow up before that happens. They're going to give us tickets, so it won't matter.
I mean, exactly. Exactly. We'll be on the red carpet talking to people.
So, alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, Forever Young 1300 over on TikTok, Ducks and Download on everything. I just started a Twitch. Why not?
Yes.
Right. So may the batch be with you, and may the Force serve you well.
May the Force be with us all.